Good afternoon.
Morning. Oh, it is afternoon, isn't it? Well, if you're in the Central Time Zone, it's afternoon.
If you're on the West Coast, it's still morning.
Yeah. But who knows when you're going to watch this, so it could be a completely different time.
It could be nighttime.
At the moment, it is past 12:30. Or almost 12:30. Our time.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyways.
Now that we know what time it is. Anyway, I want to talk about some stigmas today. Because like a few days ago, I was talking about, with one of my friends, I was talking about depression. And they did the, well, why can't you just cheer up thing? And I'm just like, oh, God. And so I had to explain to her, there's a lot more to depression than just sadness. Depression can affect different aspects of your entire life.
Yep.
It affects your mood. It affects your behavior. It affects your cognition skills, your sleep, your weight, your health, your body. It has effects on everything. So I'm going to list some of those today because holy crap, there's a lot that people don't realize.
Yeah, there is. There really is.
Yeah. I mean, most people who don't have depression or don't know anybody with depression thinks it's just sadness and that we just need to get out of bed and cheer up and suck it up and go do our daily thing. But that's just sadness. And sadness happens to everybody, yes. Depression happens to a lot more people than you'd think, too. But there is a huge difference. And
there is a huge difference between what everyone gets depression-wise and what, like, a clinical case of depression is.
Right.
There's a massive difference.
Yeah, everybody's depression is different. I'm going to be listing, well, we're both going to be listing a lot of different aspects of depression, but it doesn't necessarily mean that if you have depression, you have all of the things we're about to list.
It just means you could have one of them, or some of them, or none of them.
Or, well, no, not none of them.
Well, no, okay, that was wrong, I'm sorry.
If you have none of them, then you're not depressed.
I'm sorry, I messed up.
No, it's alright, it's okay, you got a little carried away. That's okay. Yeah, carried away. Anyway,
Derpy!
Yeah, derpy. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, not every case of depression is the same. Like he just said, you could have one of the things, but generally you'll have a lot more than one. But you can have your own mixture of things, out of the list that we're about to give you. So let's start this list.
Okay.
We're going to start with mood. It can, not always, but it can cause, of course, sadness. Yeah. Yes. Feeling sad, you're feeling down, whatever. It can cause apathy, which is where you basically don't care at all anymore.
You become a slug.
Yeah, you become a slug. It can ruminate feelings of guilt, hopelessness, anxiousness, loneliness, and it can be very stressful. Yeah. It can cause crying fits. It can cause mood swings. It can make you cranky. It can make you flat, which is kind of like apathy, but it's more behavioral than mood. When you're flat, you don't really
show emotion. You don't really feel emotion.
Yeah, you just kind of talk
in a very monotone voice.
Very monotone, very slow,
very blah.
And you'll avoid eye contact. You'll just kind of doze off. That's actually also common in schizophrenia.
Is it really?
It's called the blunt affect, actually, yes.
Oh, okay.
It's very common in catatonic schizophrenia.
Oh, yeah, well, that's kind of like a...
It does show up in other forms of schizophrenia. I've been flat and blunt before in hospitals and stuff. I remember that's where I learned about it, was once in the hospital, because I was doing the intake paperwork with the nurse. And she was doing the questions and all that, and I saw her write down on the sheet mood or behavior or whatever. She wrote down flat, and I asked her, like, what's that mean? Because I was talking like this, just answering her questions, no real mood, just like this.
My question is, though, how can you really get a good guess on someone's mood when you're doing an intake at a psych hospital?
What do you mean?
Well, you said you were doing an intake.
Yeah. Well, there was multiple answers, and she checked off that. There was answers like crying, weepy, flat, angry, happy, whatever. Why there would be happy on an intake thing at a psychiatric ward, I don't know.
I'm wondering about that one. Unless it's like manic, happy.
Manic, yeah, they could be talking about mania.
And they don't want to put mania because, you know, that might
and excitement.
Yeah.
It can make you feel pretty lazy, because you lose your energy. Your movements slow down. And a common one is you ruminate. Ruminate, basically, if you don't know, means you dwell on all the negative things in your life, whether you can do anything about them at that very moment that you're thinking about them or not. You will go over and over and over in your head all the things that are bad, like finance problems, relationship problems, job problems, family problems, whatever, health problems. And when you ruminate, you don't think towards a path of resolution on how to fix the problems. You just think about the problems and how horrible it is, and you dwell and it builds up and it builds up, and then you get upset, angry, depressed, whatever. Rumination is very common in depression. Now, like with cognition, like with your brain, it screws up your ability to concentrate and to focus on like one particular topic.
It might make you kind of squirrely.
Yeah, it may make you a little almost like you have like attention deficit disorder.
Yep.
You get easily distracted. You have intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts are basically any thoughts that come into your head that you do not want and that cause you significant stress or anxiety or any kind of negative feelings. And then worse comes to worse with your cognition and your behavioral, you can become suicidal. If you become suicidal, get help immediately. Call 911 if you have to. Go have your friend or a family member take you to the ER. Don't drive yourself.
Yeah.
If you're suicidal, do not drive yourself.
They will look at you very funny.
No, it's also if you decide to, on the way to the hospital, if you decide you are going to end it.
Yeah.
An easy way to end it is in a car.
That's true.
But that's also an easy way to end somebody else's life as well. So yes, if you're suicidal, don't drive yourself to the hospital. Have a friend drive you, a family member drive you, or if you can't find anything like that, call 911. They will come and get you, and they will take you to the hospital. That's if you're truly suicidal. If you're even beginning to think about suicide, you want to consider going to the hospital. What would likely happen is you would get something to calm you down, whether it's Ativan or what's like Zyprexa? Is that one of the ones they use to calm you down?
Xanax.
Well, no, yeah, the benzodiazepines. Yes, but there is one antipsychotic they use to help calm you down.
I don't know.
I think it was Zyprexa.
It might be. I don't remember what Zyprexa is anymore.
What's in that shot that they give you?
Oh, a B-52.
Yeah, what's in a B-52?
Ativan.
Benadryl.
And
if you know what's in a B-52, put it down in the comments below.
I believe that's what they're called.
Yeah, well, okay. There is a shot that they can give you if you were really out of control.
Yeah, and it pretty much
knocks you on your ass. Yeah. I mean, you're like, blah, blah, boom, down. Like within
pretty much. It's 3 very fast-acting medications.
Yes. And I mean, they give it to you in a shot, so it goes straight into your blood system. As soon as it hits your brain, which only usually takes like 30 seconds at the most.
Especially because of where they give you the shot.
Yeah. I mean, within 30 seconds, you're down.
If they're going to give you a B-52 or whatever it's called, it's going straight in your butt cheek.
Yeah.
So, instant access to brain.
Mm-hmm. It goes in your hip or in your butt.
Yep. Usually your butt.
Yeah. Yeah. But when you get it in the hip, it's really painful.
Oh.
I've had the B-52 given to me once.
I've had it once.
Yeah.
They put it in my butt.
They put it in my hip.
It's really awkward, like, the next day.
Oh, yeah, you feel kind of hungover.
Well, not only that, but just your butt hurts.
Yeah, your butt hurts or your hip hurts. You feel really hungover. But they only use that shot as a very last resort if you're out of control. Now, if you're crying and you're talking and you're cooperating, they're not going to give you that shot. They might give you a benzodiazepine such as Ativan, Xanax, Valium, Klonopin.
Ativan's the most common.
Yeah, Ativan is definitely the most common. It's one of the cheapest ones that you know. Xanax is probably the next one down the line.
Valium's a little more hardcore.
Yeah, and Klonopin is not as fast acting as the other ones.
No, that one's more of a longer.
That's a long half-life one.
Yeah.
That one stays in your system longer, but it takes a lot longer to kick in, so it's generally not used in emergencies.
Nope.
So, okay, so we kind of went off topic there a little bit, but that's okay.
Kind of,
but it was still relevant to what we were talking about.
Still relevant, yes.
Some other things it can do, it can give you insomnia, or it can do the absolute opposite, which when I was going through the worst depression of my life, I almost never got out of bed.
I remember that.
Yeah, I know you remember that.
That was a long period of depression, too.
Yeah, and you saw only the tail end of that.
Yeah.
When me and my ex-husband separated, I moved back in with my parents, and I didn't want the divorce at the time. I look back and wonder why, but I didn't want the divorce at the time, so I was really depressed, and I was really upset, and I was mad, and all I could do was just lay in bed, and, but I found a new purpose in life after that. My grandmother was also staying with my parents because she was just too old to live by herself. So I decided to put my energy into taking care of my grandma so my mom and dad can both go to work.
Good purpose.
Yeah. And my grandma got me through that divorce. She did. She was amazing through my whole divorce. I could probably credit her with saving my life because I did become suicidal like the night that my ex-husband brought me to my parents' house.
Understandable.
And I spent that night at home, and then I went to the hospital the next day. They made me sleep on the couch in the living room so that I couldn't be isolated or alone or do anything silly or whatever. It can also, obviously, it can affect the quality of your sleep. It could give you nightmares. It could make incomplete cycles. You'll wake up all the time. With the slightest thing can wake you up.
I have that problem.
Yeah, you do. Or if you get the hypersomnia, which is when you sleep too much, it can be very difficult to wake you up.
I don't get that one.
No, I mean, like anybody who has hypersomnia.
Oh, yeah.
No, sometimes you're a little difficult to wake up.
Am I?
There are times where I have to be like, David, to get you up. And then you're like, he startles when he wakes up all the time, never fails.
Yeah, it's weird.
Your eating habits can also change a lot. Either one of two directions. You can lose your appetite completely, which is what I did. Or you can be an emotional eater, which is
me.
Yeah. Explain what goes through your head when you're emotionally eating.
When I emotionally eat, I'm usually in a pretty deserted and dark place, I guess, the way to put it.
Usually, what brings you to eat? What do you hope to accomplish when you're eating?
I don't
know. Do you know?
It's not really a matter of accomplishing anything. It's a matter of trying to make myself feel better.
Okay.
Even though it really just makes me feel worse.
Yeah.
But your brain's not fully thinking correctly at the time.
Right.
So you're kind of in those thoughts where, like, this will make me happy.
Yeah, because you'll start eating junk food that you really like. And
yep.
Like, you'll eat, like, french fries or ice cream
yep.
or whatever. Now, me, I lost my appetite completely after the separation. and it made me to the point that I was throwing up on a regular basis. And within like the first 6 or 7 months after the separation, when I first moved back in with my parents, I lost 75 pounds. It can almost emulate an eating disorder, like anorexia or bulimia or whatever, binge eating disorder. It can emulate a lot of those things if you let it just get too far. If you lose control of it, you could end up with an eating disorder or something like it. And last, the body, fatigue, headaches, sore and stiff muscles. It can make you feel like you have the flu or a cold. If you have any chronic illness that you deal with on a daily basis anyway, it can make that worse. Like my migraines, I have chronic migraines. I get them a lot. When I get depressed, I'll get migraines that will last upwards of 4 or 5 days.
Yep.
Like the last 3 days prior to right now, I had a migraine. That one I don't think was because of depression. It was just a standard migraine.
Yeah.
But when I do get depressed, I do get more migraines. It can kill your libido. We're all adults here. It can make you forget about sex completely. Or if you have an addiction problem, especially sex addiction, it can increase your libido because you're going to start looking for that satisfaction.
Yep.
You're going to start looking for that endorphin rush, and you know sex will do it. So if you're like hypersexual, which is common in bipolar disorder,
yep,
when you're manic, you can become hypersexual. And then last, here's the embarrassing one, digestion.
Ugh.
It can make you constipated, or it can give you severe diarrhea.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No.
I have issues with diarrhea.
Yeah, I don't think they needed to know that. But okay.
Well, too bad they know that.
Yeah, and I was just the opposite. I actually was on the point that they put me on Linzess because I had developed basically irritable bowel syndrome, constipation. So they put me on Linzess. It did land me in the hospital twice. I won't give gory details, but it was not good. But so, yeah, it can affect your mood, your behavior, your thinking, your sleeping, your weight, your health, your body. Depression is a lot more than sadness.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. So it's not just something you can tell somebody, oh, just cheer up. Oh, just think happy thoughts. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
No.
If it worked that way, it would just be sadness, which is fine. People get sad. If you have a job you hate, or you lost your job, or there is situational depression where something did happen to cause the depression, whether you lost a job, or a loved one died, or you got a bad prognosis of your own health, or you're going through a divorce. There's all sorts of stuff that can cause depression. And basically, to be diagnosed with actual depression, you have to have these symptoms, not all of them, of course, but whatever combo of symptoms, you have to have that combo of symptoms for at least 2 weeks before you will be considered depressed.
Yeah.
There are several different kinds of depression. I can get into those in a different video sometime if you want, because there's a lot, so that would take a whole nother video.
Yeah.
So we've been babbling almost 20 minutes now, so we're going to sign off. If you have any more questions, or if you have anything that you experience while you're depressed that we did not include on the list, put those in the comments below, because we would love to learn. We want everybody to know it all. That's what we're here for.
Yep.
So we hope you guys have a good week, and we'll probably see you tomorrow.
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye now.
Bye.